Here at the AnomicAge, we know that these times of uncertainty are stressful. It is incumbent upon all of us to put our fears first and bow down to government tyranny. Gone are the days of freely leaving your home, working, and social interactions. In exchange for safety, we will trade liberty. At the AnomicAge, we understand. However, just in case you want to get off your knees and stop being a sniveling coward, check out the JohnAge project at AnomicAge.com.
Meet Ann Morrissey, who is here with her daughter, Dareth. Dareth is 17 years old. Mrs. Morrissey, I don't have to tell you that most parents would be extremely depressed if their daughter came home one day looking like this. I assume that was your response shock, anger, depression? What was it?
I was extremely angry. I really went bananas.
Yeah, how old was she when this happened?
Possibly 13, 14 years old.
We're talking like it's a disease, isn't it?
Well,
yeah. How did she explain it to you, Mrs. Morrissey?
there was very poor communication until we went into counseling. And it almost broke up our family. But through counseling and Serena, I can understand it better.
What do you understand?
That she feels like she doesn't want to be like everyone else, and she wants to be her own person. And through the dress code and her lifestyle, she's expressing this. It doesn't conform with our rules, but we're learning to cope, and it's a very, very difficult thing. Extremely difficult.
Dareth, let's let you talk for yourself. You're from Long Beach, California.
I just can't handle being like everybody else because that's what everybody else wants, you know. Just because somebody else does something does not mean that I have to do it. You know, I have my own morals and ideals, and I go by them.
Are you drug-free, Dareth?
Yes, I am.
Is this a political statement, then? Do you have some misgiving about the society that you see?
Yeah, there's a lot of problems, you know. A lot of the people are really aware of what's going on, you know, and I don't like it, you know. There's a lot of problems.
What?
I don't like the way society is based.
What bothers you? Give us some of the misgivings you have.
The rich, the poor, the people starving, the wars, you know. Why can't, you know, everybody just get along and just live their life?
Talon Rio and Chevy.
Propagating truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the JohnAge Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the AnomicAge, and I am your host, JohnAge. Happy to be back with you once again in the not-so-wee hours of the PM. Kicking it at 3 o'clock here in North Cac. Thanks for being with us today. Please check out AnomicAge.com. If you've not already done so, please like all the likes, subscribe to all the subscriptions. Excuse me. PayPal.me/AnomicAge, Patreon.com/AnomicAge as well. I can't thank you enough. I know it's been a week. I've taken some time just trying to help my mom out at her place. Weirds me out saying that, but at my mom's house now, I'm just trying to, oh my goodness, doing a tremendous amount of yard work. So
and inside work. But anyway, doing a lot of work, so thanks ever so much for putting up with my brief absence this week. I guarantee I'm going to put out about 3 shows in the next 24 hours. So enjoy them, like them, or do what you can. Okay, so the obvious stuff, paypal.me/AnomicAge, patreon.com/AnomicAge as well. We got the iPhone app, the Android app, the subscribe by email link, of which I'm going to make some pretty major changes there. We got all that. Buy me a cup of coffee. The Cash App. It's all right there at AnomicAge.com. So if you can't do any more, please just share the show links. But if you are so inclined, I realize I've lost a tremendous amount of patrons and the like in the last year. And so be it. You know, with the death of my father, I've really tried to step back from the show a little bit, but I'm very much ready to step in to the show in a very big way here in the next few weeks. So please consider becoming a patron. Make a donation. That's the best way to help this show out. I'm about to have to make some pretty big decisions on cutting some things on the website. So that's probably going to happen before the 18th. Anyway, you didn't come in for that. You came in for this. So hang on to your hats. Episode 454 of the Information Breakdown segment variety. This is called Death of Someone Distant. And as you might expect, or maybe you don't if you're new to this whole thing, I've been kind of morose in the last little bit, even more so than usual, which is pretty hard for me to top. You know, pretty hard to bad the thriller that is the sort of melancholy and somewhat macabre mindset that I often have. But I've been ever so much more in that vein lately. And I want to speak on that today a little bit more. Because someone near and dear to me, let's see if I can put that up. There we go. Someone near and dear to me shared the fact that someone distant died in the last week. And it's always hard to say that. I don't want to disparage people or make people feel like bit players in my life. But here's the deal, folks. Everyone out there within the sound of my voice is a bit player in somebody's life. That's not a knock. That's just how life works. I'm sorry, folks. That just is. So not as to say that this person was a bit player, but this person was someone who was just in and around the scene of people I hung out with about 30 years ago. And, she was friends of a friend, and we always saw this person out. Always nothing but kind things to say about this person. Just a class act, in my humble opinion. Never had a bad thing to say about me. Never had a bad thing to say about her. We were just cool. And this person's death here within the last week, it didn't relay any details. This person moved on out of town and pretty much severed ties with anyone that I would be acquainted with that might still know this person. So, yeah, that's kind of the crux of tonight's show. So shout out to you, Larry, wherever you may be. If you are listening to this show in the nether regions somewhere, I hope you're doing well, and I have nothing but good things to say about you. I'm sorry that you're not here anymore on this mortal coil, but hopefully you're even doing better now than when you were here. So the title of tonight's episode, once again, Death of Someone Distant. It's weird because oftentimes we think of the death of someone, it's got to be someone close that's impactful and then this and that and the other. I don't think that's the case. I think I've touched on this in previous episodes, but it doesn't have to be someone close. You can have that sort of someone that's not so close, but yet it still resonates and rings so true, and it just makes you think. And I think that's kind of what these people do, the not-so-close people. Sometimes the not-so-close people, you sit there and reflect and you think, man, they're not so close, but maybe they should have been closer. You know, that's kind of my perspective on the whole thing. It was a person that died, I believe, about 2.5 years ago now. She, I won't mention any names here. She died saving her daughter. Daughter was caught in a rip current or something. Daughter was out there struggling, was about to go under, and the mom and wife went out there and saved the kid and ended up meeting her own demise. She was one of the same people as the aforementioned. Never had a bad word to say about it. I never said anything bad about her. Just a good person, just a good person. And it always makes me think, maybe I should have been closer to these people. Maybe you should have been closer to somebody out there that you're thinking about too. Because as I look back and as I do my own reflection, I think to myself, I'm not the only one thinking these things. I'm not the only one. I'm not living in a vacuum here. So someone else out there is thinking and feeling these same things about someone near and dear, or perhaps not so near and dear in your life. Just these people that are indeed important. And, it makes me think big picture. It makes me think small picture, that whole macro, micro thing. Always the camera lens seeking focus on the small and on the big. That's how my mind works anyway. And as I look at our society, it's just really pitiful and it's sad, really. Because it'd be easy for me to get up here and show you video images, which I've done on the show. Just show you these video images of Skid Row, the bad districts of San Francisco, the bad districts of Philadelphia, LA, New York, virtually any metropolitan area. Same old song, same old song. And we could all get up here and show the video and just, oh my goodness, look at this trash and the scum and the filth. And yeah, that's true. It's easy to do, and that's not a statement that's untrue. These are all factual things. But when I look at some of this, I kind of can't help but think, all these people that are so fouled up, there's a component to this. It's a mental component. It's a substance abuse component. It's a spiritual component. Because I would submit to you that we have a tremendous mental health problem. I'm not shining a light in a dark room here. Everyone knows this. We just don't want to talk about it. The American society has a tremendous mental health problem. And it's masqueraded in many different ways. It goes by many different names, but it's a mental health problem, folks. If you want to look at this polarity of the right and the left, yeah, that's a mental health problem. You got cult members on both sides that will live and die by their cult. No different than the Bloods and the Crips or some of the street gangs that there were voluminous documentaries made out of in the 70s. So there's a problem when someone seeks a gang affiliation. There's a lack of something going on. Most notably, you can look at the 90s era gangs in the late 80s and the like, and you get the no fathers in the home. And, we could all set the clock back and look at LBJ and the Great Society. We could look at FDR and his sort of precursors to the welfare state that has killed us all, metaphorically speaking, if not literally speaking, quite many of us. So we can look at all that, but it's something lacking. And that's really what it boils down to. When you see all these Skid Row people slumped over on, choose your variety of drugs. Fentanyl is the one everybody wants to talk about now. If we turn the clock back to the 80s, it'd be crack. So choose your drug. Turn back to the 70s and the 60s, it'd be LSD and pot. You know what I'm saying? So as the generations proceed, the problem doesn't disappear. It just wears a different mask. So that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing various masks on different or the same mental health problems, the same demonic forces controlling people, the same people with those God-shaped holes getting taken out of the game. So that's really what's up. That's really where we're at, man. We have a real mental health problem. And nobody wants to talk about it. Everyone will put a Band-Aid on it, put a different drug on it, put a different spin on it, but it's kind of the same old song, folks. Shout out to David Paulides with Can-Am Missing Project, Missing 411 documentaries and books. He's definitely been shining a light on this. I've loved that man's work for, goodness gracious, dare I say, like over 15 years at least. And in the last 5, since the loss of his son, he's really championed mental health more than ever. I admire that about the man. I've never met him. He'll probably never meet me, never hear this show, and so on and so forth. But I like to give credit where credit is due. As it's easy to throw barbs when barbs are necessary, you also got to throw some credit people's way when they're doing the right thing. So we got a real mental health problem, which leads into a real drug problem, which leads into a real suicide problem, self-harm problem, just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs darn crazy problem. I'm going to do a whole nother show. I got it. The album art's over there. It's ready to roll. Talking about the hatred problem, the self-hate problem in this country. But we're going to save that for another time. Because right now we just got to talk about this obituary. Official obituary of someone you know. I have lost count almost of the number of people in my quite short time on this planet that are deceased. And none of them really from what you would say is a natural cause. No one was 85 years old and just conked over from a heart attack, a stroke, or something normal. No, these were all self-inflicted wounds. Whether it's suicide, whether it's drugs, whether it's drunk driving, whether it's something of that nature. Vastly self-inflicted wounds. Overdose. I mean, good night. I could go on and on here. And all of those lives touched someone. All of those lives touched people that you don't even think about. That's another thing. People really love to think of themselves polarizingly. They think they're the center of the universe, or they think they have no impact on anyone. It's like, you're the center of it all, or your life's in a vacuum and you affect no one. But we indeed do affect everyone around us. We are stones in the pond. And I think this was a big element of the PSYOP 19, was disconnecting people from people. There's a great, I don't know if it's great, it's quite stark documentary. It's hard to get your hands on, but if you were me, you got it. I believe it was from like 1973. It was called Rockabye Baby. It was a social science / psychology project showing the importance of the parent and offspring relationship with primates. I don't know who needed a study for this, but we have one. So it shows the importance of connectedness. Here we are, 2025, year of our Lord, and we are more connected, although more disconnected than ever. So yes, you could call dear old mom or dad or grandpappy or whatever at the push of a button. Any spot on this planet they might happen to be. You could talk to them. But are we really connected? The answer's been in study after study in the last 10 years, and the answer is no. We're more connected, but more isolated. We're more connected, but we're more connected to the wrong stuff. We see each other as competition more than ever. Oh, look, so-and-so's posted they got a boat. Well, we better get a boat. I don't have a boat. I feel bad about myself. I don't have a boat. Oh, look, there's bikini pics of so-and-so. Oh, my gosh, well, I don't look that good in that bathing suit. Oh, well, I look better in that bed. Let me post my own peep show here for everyone to see. So it creates this real irrational competition with no longer your tribe, no longer your neighborhood, but the whole blipping world. And now it's sponsored by filters and Photoshop and lenses and special cameras and AI and everything else. So you're not even really getting what you think you're getting, folks. You're not. Your mind thinks it's in that tribal relationship from thousands of years ago, when now it's a global relationship, that you're not just competing with the same tribal members or tribes across the river. No, now it's with everyone. And it's a headspace. It's a mind game. That old John Lennon song, mind games, baby. Yeah, it's mind games, folks. So we got to disconnect and stop playing the mind games. Be more connected with your family. Not with devices, with them. Sit down, talk. Person to person, face to face. I was speaking with someone, a business contact, quite recently. And he was discussing just that. He had someone to do business for him, to perform some tasks, X, Y, and Z. They need to meet up and talk about it. The guy wouldn't do it. The guy would not meet with this gentleman in person. He was like, no, I'm just going to take a loss on the money. I ain't going to do it because I don't want to meet you in person. I don't want to shake hands with you, break bread with you, have face-to-face, man-to-man talk. I can't do it, man. It's too much. I don't do that. That's where we are in the headspace, 2025. We're competing with ghosts and shadows and things that were never there. Illusions, fabrications. That's contributing and exacerbating our mental slide into the abyss. The PSYOP 19 that I started this talk about, that's the one that told you can't be around friends and family. Oh, someone's dying? Well, you can't go. Someone's being born? Well, forget about it. Life and death, the two most big transitional parallels on this side of the plane of existence. PSYOP 19 said you can't be a part of it anymore. Lock yourselves away. Don't go outside. Stepping past 6 feet, you're stepping into dangerous territory. And when you do participate, when you do go outside and you follow the rules and your flowers like Arjuna down the line, you better wear your mask. La máscara es muy importante, huh? Yeah, la máscara. So that's what's up, folks. That's some of the big contributors that have led us here. Led us into shows like this one. Official obituary of someone you knew. I don't know how many people I've talked to that have lost people because of a mental health issue. That have lost a loved one that they couldn't be a part of that final transition because it was during the PSYOP and we couldn't be bothered to break the rules, don't you know? There was, at least 5 deaths during PSYOP 19. They just didn't have a funeral. They had something private. Nobody knows. No one got to pay their last goodbye, a la Agent Orange. The last goodbye was never made. What do you think the psychological ramifications of that are? You can't say goodbye to the loved ones. You can't welcome in the birth of the next generation. You can't go see people that are sick. You can't go see people that need your help. Like that old commercial from there, I'm falling and I can't get up. I guess during the PSYOP, it was just, well, you're just dead, I guess. Screw you. We're afraid. It's the biggest phrase said in the Bible. Don't fear. But as a people, we were afraid. And we were afraid because we have no Bible in us. We got no God in us. We got nothing. You don't stand up for something, you'll fall for anything. If you don't have a leader, you will be led. Your leader should have been God. Your leader should have been the Bible. Your leader should have been the Word of God, your discernment. We had none as a society, in a wrecked shop. We're just now seeing the wake coming back off that boat from 5 years ago almost. The wake coming into the shore, slapping up on the dock, in the version of dead bodies, in the version of mental illness, in the version of suicide. Just all sorts of calamity of just mental health stupidness. I'm going to talk more about this death thing. I got a lot more to say, but for right now, I'll leave it here. Again, shout out to you, Larry. Wish I could have seen you in the last 20, 25 years. I hope this life was good to you. Doesn't sound like that's how things played out in the end. You won't be forgotten. You shall be remembered. And shout out to all those of you who are watching this show and have experienced something similar from someone you knew. You can't do everything, but you can do something. Get out there, do your part, and be safe. I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the AnomicAge.
Thank you for listening to the AnomicAge, a JohnAge project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to AnomicAge.com. That's AnomicAge.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to the AnomicAge.